old baggage. They'll start clearing out old baggage around Malkut. They'll start doing a cleanse. Your discernment is going to be heightened. You'll realize where you're in inertia. Where have you been stuck? So there's always a virtue and a vice that you're going to be able to explore, because we all have things to clear. And, you know, a lot of times I do focus on the things we need to clear, because that's just the only thing in the way of all this beautiful light coming in. So you do need to kind of figure out, okay, what do I need to dislodge? And the light from being placed onto this map energetically, you'll be lifted by me, the Kabbalah teacher, into this map. Then you're going to be able to see a lot clearer, because the light from the tree will come down and illuminate your life. So light's going to show you things that light does a lot of things. One thing it does is it shows us, oh my gosh, I always use the example of you're in a house, it's dim, you turn on the light, you might now be able to see the details of like, wow, this is a gold frame, how beautiful. Something like that. But you're also going to be able to see, oh, there's a little spot on the floor down there. You couldn't see it before. There's cobwebs in the corner. That's what the light's going to do for you. But you want to know. Well, hopefully you want to know, because knowing gives you awareness. Awareness gives you choice. Then you can decide, do I want to continue having this pattern? Is it getting in the way of this beautiful gift that I have? That's what it's rinse and repeat. This is what you're going to be seeing as you're energetically being lifted into this process. Then you're in Malkut and you're going to start feeling the other spheres come down. You're not going to be ascended into them until 3 months later for Kabbalah 2. But it doesn't matter, because the taste of each one will be most present in your life. And there'll be study groups helping you to really immerse yourself in it with the group. And you'll notice that each person's having the same, almost a similar aspect. And that's a very interesting phenomenon that will happen. So then Yesod here, this one here, this is foundation. It's purple. Each one has a different color. It's about your foundation. What is it built on? So you might look into things around codependence, interdependence, extreme independence. Those issues are going to start illuminating in your life. And it doesn't matter what you do or who you are. It's so efficient. Like, you're going to be at work or on the subway or on an airplane, and you're in the tree. And so everything kind of mirrors this aspect of yourself. But also the good stuff, like you'll learn about independence, you'll learn about your subconscious patterning. Like, okay, you're going to be very much aware. Dreams are going to get more vibrant during this part. Psychic abilities are going to get turned on. So there's all sorts of good things that are going to happen. But this is also for somebody who really wants to face themselves. It's for a brave person. I look at it as like climbing Mount Everest, you know, you're at base camp here, or you're even just like packing to base camp here. Then we're going to go into Hod next, which is the orange one here. Hod has, and each one has angels, a tree that goes with it, a scent, an animal. But mostly I'm telling you the practical aspects of it at this point, so that you can like see what you're going to get out of it. This is about, and I'm also teaching about Kabbalah while I'm explaining. So this is about truthfulness within yourself. Usually, like sometimes at first you might mirror out, like, and looking at the seat around you, but really it's an inside game. Am I telling myself the truth? Where am I lying to myself? But it's also about the intellect. It's about magical operations. It's about communication. Mercury's here. We're at Mercury retrograde today. It's very brave to do this talk today. But I called in Mercury. So you're going to get a lot of like insight about your beliefs, your belief systems. Like, what belief systems are you holding? And are they something that you as a god of your, or king or queen of your kingdom or queendom, do you want to have these laws and these beliefs ruling your personal world? I mean, sometimes we're holding ourselves back by something we learned when we were like somebody looked at you funny when you're 5 and you have a whole belief that you've just mapped your whole life around. You owe it to yourself to be in the light enough to start to dislodge these things. And that's what Kabbalah is going to do for you. You either face it or you just live with it, you know. There's other ways I'm sure to do it, but this is very holy. And it packs a punch, and it has a lot of history. It's been a well-trodden path. Then you've got Netzach over here, which is green. So we have all sorts of different colors. This is about emotions and being like in nature and art and dance. It's the opposite. You are going to find out about emotions, victory over your emotional attachments. And so do you see how they go, that we're getting a little bit of a polarity here at this stage? We've been in the mid, this is called the middle pillar, Malkut, Yesod. They're both on a pillar called the middle pillar, which goes down the center of the tree. But then there's the pillar of mercy or force on this side, and the pillar of form on this side. And these two are the two Sephirah on either side are going to need to be balanced. So somebody might be really intellectual, and that's great. That's a good gift. But if they're low in their emotional awareness, you're not going to want to put down your intellectual prowess. You're going to keep it up, but you're going to learn to balance and nurture Netzach so that it's balanced, because the goal is to have balance so that you're on the middle pillar and so that you're walking through life on the center of the spoke of a wheel, so that everything's going on around you and you are balanced. So it's kind of like a Western form of, it's like a way to be in the world, but still be Zen without having to go on a mountaintop and take yourself away from civilization. You're going to be in the world, but not, if you get it balanced, that's the goal. So just, and then you can use your energy for all the things you want to create instead of like, I'm triggered. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they said this. Well, I couldn't possibly do that because I have a belief that I'm limited. You're not going to have that as much because you've done the truth. That's the goal. You know, you really, if you do it, all the exercises and show up, you're going to get a lot of results. Okay, I'm going to keep on going. And then maybe after I go over the entire overview of the process, I'll open the floor up for questions. I mean, I could talk about that. There's just so much to talk about. Okay. So this is the lower tree, not meaning less than. We're in the mystery school, the root chakra and the crown are equally important. We're not trying to spiritually bypass. We're trying to be completely open in every aspect. Root should be open, crown, everything in between. Same with the tree of life. It is on your body. Most people have not been taught that. We know the chakra system, but the tree of life also needs to be nurtured. It's a system. The light comes in through the chakras, and then it forms a tree in front of you. It's also on your body. So the lower tree does represent your personality, which in the mystery school, we use a different lingo. That means negative ego, or the masks that you've learned to cope. Now, when the vices are gone, it's just gonna be a system that you can use for positive. It's a positive system. But when we have a lot of subconscious beliefs, this part gets clogged, the lower tree gets clogged. So we really want to let go before we ascend. We ascend to Tiferet. After the first meeting, you'll meet again, and then we'll do a one-day class. And I'll send you up Yesod, Hod, Netzach, and then Tiferet. Tiferet here is in the middle. It's at your heart. It's the sun. It's healing. It's Raphael. It's connected to all the rest of the Sephirah. It's balance. And this is where you can start really healing. And you're actually at a vantage point, like you're looking down. You're looking down at the issues that you were mired in, that you couldn't get out of. You kind of didn't have the perspective, but now you're higher and you can look down like an eagle and see, oh my gosh, I absolutely don't want to have this pattern. I'm going to easily let it go. I'm not even going to hold on to it anymore. So that's where you start healing all the things that you've noticed coming up for you down here. Now, there's a lot of victory and a lot of joy on the process, but there's definitely moments where it's easier to let go. So you're at Tiferet, so you're going to be able to heal, and you're in the center of the tree. And so that's what that part is about, is kind of like letting go of the masks that you discovered you had to cope, and really revealing a self that's more attached to your individuality, not coping mechanisms to be able to cope with the world. And so you will, sometimes that's a little like, oh, kind of like, whoa, who am I? But it's actually a lot more authentic and free, and you have more energy, and there's less barriers. So that's something you can look forward to. Okay, so then the next part of the tree is about Geburah, which is the red one over here, Geburah, and Hesed. So this part of the tree, you're going to get ascended into both of them. So you're not going to be in the middle pillar for the first time. You're going to be in severity, which is, it's at your right shoulder, and mercy. And so severity is about, it's like a king at war on the chariot, protecting its people. It's about boundaries. It's about cutting away. It's about power, good power, assertiveness, vitality. It's a lot of people are afraid of it, but it's actually, if you don't have a balanced Geburah, your Hesed's really messed up. This is mercy, love. But if you're not balancing it with this gets toxic, kind of the passive aggressive, the person who won't speak up about what they're angry about. So what you're working on at this point is, and this is good, I mean, there's laughter, there's abundance, Jupiter's here. This is where Mars is. So you can see, if you know about astrology and the planets, there's just so much to it. And so this is the part where actually I have a group, some of them are on this call. I can see Janina. I can only see like 4 of you at the top because I needed to look at the map. But you are just about to cross the abyss. And there's about 37 people in this process where you can get 80% of the work done in 20% of the time. So anything that you haven't done yet, you're going to be able to work on. Why? Because, and let me go over to the map. This part here, there's a gray part here. This is called the abyss. This is your perceived separations between you and oneness with all, you and God, the big God, you and spirit. And so the people in my group, they're able to really see what their fears are, or what their imagined separation between them and God are, because it's right in front of them right now. And me too, as the leader, as the person leading the group, I'm also seeing, oh, where do I hold myself back? And then it's really wonderfully clear. And then on the other side of it is the supernal triad. So the top of this tree here, you can see it's a triangle. Triangle represents spirit. There's obviously so much sacred geometry in the tree that you'll be able to study. It's juicy. I mean, I could talk about this I wanted to become a Kabbalah teacher because I'm like, I could be 88 and still not know it. It's exciting. It's alive. It's totally alive. It totally melds with you exactly where you are. But okay, so everybody's there, but also the beauty is, oh my gosh, you're closer to the supernal triad than you've ever been before. Most people haven't even been here anywhere in any spiritual path that they've ever done. They haven't gotten to that point. So you can actually really taste this oneness. It's like a spirit that starts coming down, depending on what you choose to focus on. And that's how you learn about yourself. Oh, am I focusing on the abyss or the oneness with God? It's choice. It's always a choice. But then we're going to meet, our group's going to meet a couple weeks, and we're going to do high alchemy and magic. This time we're going to be at a retreat center, no phones, long days, but we're going to do high magic and healing and beautiful. I'm so excited to be able to teach some of these teachings. It's a true, pure, holy honor. I mean, I think about it all the time. So they will be able to do a process where they're able to cross this gulf and become one with the supernal triad, therefore becoming a Kabbalist. Then you can call yourself a Kabbalist, meaning all the Sephiroth have been lit up in your aura. Everything's repaired. It's called the Tikkun. It's the holy work of our soul retrieval between us and our divine selves. And then Keter is at the top. Keter is at the top. It's called the crown, and it's oneness with all, total union, total spirit, no separation. Then we've got Hokmah, which is the divine primordial masculine force. It's force going out into the universe to create. And then that congeals to form with Vina, which is the primordial divine feminine. And so this is the first pattern of creation, which then gets duplicated and duplicated again, and then printed out into Malkut. So what we're doing is, the way God creates is the energy comes down here when first creation happened. Here, this is called the path of the flaming sword. And then what we're doing when you sign up for Kabbalah is you're doing the path of return. From Hesed to Bina, the Divine Mother welcomes you. Okay. And what happens, the benefit of doing that is that you're going to be on a higher vibration after doing that. So yes, you're getting benefit the entire 9 to 10 months. You're changing, you're glowing higher. But once you finish the process, it's like you're on a different vibration. I mean, when I did it the first time, I'm like, I had just started dating somebody in the tree. I had manifested that. You get to manifest too. That's just the icing on the top. That's like just a cherry on the top. That's not even as cool as everything else. But I started dating somebody and I'm like, how is he even going to exist when I get off this? Like, I'm in a different realm. And he did. Don't worry, people still fit into your reality, but it really feels like you're not, because once you get up here to Keter, then this becomes your new Malkut. So then another tree forms, and then you're at a higher vibration. And then that's when the real, like, your whole world changes, because you really know yourself. You've been tested. You've been tested by doing the process. That final process is definitely a holy process where you're facing fears for sure. And when you earn something, when something's difficult, don't you feel a little bit more satisfied with it? I can't see all you guys, but I'm sure you're agreeing. Like, instead, if I just said, oh, sign up for this class, I'm going to give you your crown like day one, or if you have to actually show up and face some things and challenge yourself and do something kind of scary, like the unknown, and then you do it. It's like the people who climb Everest, they feel pretty good, probably more than if they didn't, if they just took a helicopter ride up there. Okay, so I've talked a lot without stopping, and I'm going to just put into gallery mode. And I just want to see if there's any questions that's coming up about anything with Kabbalah. And then I have a lot of other things I could talk about, but I just wanted to check in with you and see if there's anything that you feel like expressing, and if not, I'll just keep going. Yeah, go for it. I see somebody wanting to talk. So, Ling, it's everybody. Can you unmute Shayna? Okay, I think you're unmuted.
There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is the reason why I came to the Modern Mystery School, is for Kabbalah, but I've been on another journey and gone to healers and all that. But this, I'm really excited about this. What is the timeline between each of the stations of the Tree of Life?
Thanks for asking. Okay, cool. Let me go back here. Okay, so we're gonna definitely put a link down there, but it's 3 months in between usually. I don't have it memorized, but I know it's January 20th, and then I think April 20th, something like that. And then June 22nd, actually I do have it memorized, and then September. And then, but some people may not have ever been exposed to Kabbalah with Mystery School. Some of you have, but I do need to tell you, we used to have study groups as optional, but we've changed the format so that they're so deep. Sorry, last group. Actually, you had the benefit of being able to, if you missed one, you were fine. So, but now we're changing the whole entire format of the study groups, and they're going to be only an apprentice or a Kabbalah teacher can do them. And so now these study groups can be done on Zoom, but you have to make every single one. And they're every 3 weeks, basically 2 to 3 weeks in between every ascension. And it's going to be on Wednesday. I put it on the link. I don't know if we could put the link in the chat box or something like that, but it's in the sign up. So you can just check and you are God. Even if you haven't taken Empower Thyself yet, you are a divine being. You can really make anything happen. And so you can definitely commit to this and make it happen, but that it's a strict rule where we're holding you to a high standard, because this is a very holy thing that you're committing to. So that's a new thing that you would need to come to every ascension, but also every study group. But I mean, Zoom, how hard is that really? It's from 7 to 10. Just make it happen. Part of manifesting is having obstacles and ducking around them, like Neo. Does that help? Any more? So it should be in the link.
My chat is disabled. I wanted to ask a question.
I can hear you.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess I could have just said it, huh? Okay, so I am interested in learning lots of different, cultures. I'm somewhat new to, the conscious spiritual path. And so if I were to, come to the meetings and learn about Kabbalah, does that mean, would I be somewhat karmically tied to Kabbalah? And would that interfere if I were learning other systems? Like, how does the karma attachment work when you're wanting to learn different systems?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good question. What happens is it's 9 months, 10 months sometimes. I think our group's 9 this time. And then I'm gonna just take one more question after that, and then I'm gonna just teach a little bit more and then leave questions to the end. So if people need to leave, but we because it's such an ancient holy system, we recommend while you're in it to just focus on that. Unless sometimes people are like, well, look, I already signed up for a yoga teacher training. I mean, it's just definitely a recommendation. And then after you're done with the 10 months, pick up everything back up again if you want. You'll probably be so transformed, you'll look at things differently. But yeah, for that 10 months, we just want to, that way you can really see, okay, did this work? And it is about getting your own answers from yourself. So you kind of want to rewire your system according to the tree of life, which is in you already as a goddess. You're just saying hello to it. And then after that, then you can do as many things as you want. But during it, we don't recommend doing other things. A lot of it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then I think somebody had their hand raised, and then we can have that question.
So I studied Kabbalah with a mystical rabbi. So I am familiar with the Sefirot as well as many of the Jewish mystical practices. At what level would that, mean sort of for somebody like that, for like me, is this appropriate? And at what level would I want to come in if I'm already quite familiar with the overall frameworks?
Yeah, well, we talk about emptying our cup is this is one of the teachings I forgot that I wanted to share is we all have information from before, And when you're coming to something new, we recommend emptying your cup, not to throw it out, but to add so that new information can come into where you are right now. Our founder, who studied Kabbalah with the Golden Dawn, also studied with a rabbi. He had to knock on the door like every day for a year because he wasn't Jewish or older, old enough, but they tested him, they gave him all these books, and then they tested him. So he was studied with that, and then he studied with the Golden Dawn. And the kind we do is more, it's universal, so it's for everybody regardless of your background. But there are Hebrew words in it, but it's a more of an experiential alchemical process. So I think that you would get something out of it where it would meet you where you are just naturally, because the tree of life just kind of finds you where you are.
Thanks.
So yeah. Okay, so
Aaron, you're muted.
okay, I found that out, but I just couldn't find myself. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Kabbalah, and then leave the last part for speaker. Okay, for maybe some people who have taken it for testimonials. But I want to go over more things about the Kabbalah. Can you guys hear me? I have no idea where I am in this.
Yes.
Things. Okay. So please mute yourself so I can see the map again, because I don't know where I am in this. I can't see myself, but that's okay. So there's a lot of other things that we study with the Kabbalah. It's every day you're going to be challenged or have the opportunity to look within yourself and get answers about yourself by asking 5 questions. So we recommend every day that you do this. So you're going to ask yourself, and you might even, I'm going to pause when I do this so you have a little bit of experiential moment. So, because I don't know if I could do anything deeper than that with you on Zoom. So when we ask the right questions, the answer does come. That's part of Kabbalah, it's to receive. And so when you ask the right question, you're actually going to start getting the answer. Now, how you receive that, I don't know. I don't know what your senses are. Do you see, do you hear, do you feel? But the answer is going to come even if you don't get it right away. And so I want you to just have this experience of asking the question. So you're going to, even though you're muted, you're going to say it out loud, the question, and then pause and then see what you get. Okay. Because Kabbalah is all about asking the right questions and then receiving the answer. Who am I? So then you say it out loud. And then pause and see what comes. What am I? And then say it out loud. If you have a journal, you can write it down. What am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? What is my purpose? So those are the 5 questions that you'll be encouraged to write and explore. And why we're doing that is so that you can start defining yourself based on a spiritual perspective, a higher perspective than just you've been told you are. And then that way you can start expanding. And there's a magical thing that happens at the final retreat around that as well. So, yeah, I'm just going to connect for a second. The Kabbalah, when you're studying Kabbalah, one of the benefits of ascending the tree of life is to really connect with the soul body. So a lot of times we don't really know what the soul is. It's not defined. Out in the world, before I became an initiate, I just thought soul and spirit were the same thing, honestly. But I learned that soul is a bridge between the physical and the spirit. And spirit, being aligned with spirit, which is the oneness with all, God, the good of all. If you're aligned with that, if you're able to have a connection with that, your decisions that you bring through to the physical are going to be blessed. They're going to be in accordance with the will of God. It's going to be aligned. And when you're studying Kabbalah, almost the entire glyph is the soul body. So this is physical down here, all the way down at Malkut, but this is all soul. And then this is spirit. So you're basically strengthening your soul body, creating a bridge so that you're informed by what works for everybody, what is good, if I want something, how can I align what I want so that it also blesses everybody else at the same time? And when you're connected to spirit, you're able to get that information. And that's one of my favorite benefits of Kabbalah is the soul body strengthening, because you're really working on it. I mean, you're actually strengthening it. And that's going to bring a lot of joy. I'm going to read something from the Sefer Yetzirah that I really think is powerful. And I'll have a visual. So the Sefer Yetzirah is basically the book of creation. And it's a code of how God creates. It's pretty advanced and it might not mean anything to you, but after you've studied this, reading it really helps you kind of align with, okay, how to create. But it talks about the 22 letters. So there's 22 pathways. The links in between the Sephirah are called the pathways. And so they also correspond to the Hebrew letters. So this is about why you would want to be aligned with the will of God and why there's really 2 choices. I mean, going towards the light or going against it. And then I'll show you a visual. These 22 letters, which are the foundation of all things, he arranged as upon a sphere with 231 gates, and the sphere may be rotated forward or backward, whether for good or for evil. From good comes true pleasure, from evil, not but torment. Now, evil isn't like a scary, scary thing in our definition. It's anything that stops the progression of God human, but I'll show you what it looks like, the 231 gates. This is what it looks like. So if you're going clockwise, so that's an alignment. And then if you're going counterclockwise. So it's kind of cool. I mean, you might not understand it, but you can kind of feel the energy of all this. So I think I'll stop for questions so I know where you're at. Like, are you following me? What would you like to know that I haven't covered?
And you can chat too as well now. You can unmute yourself to talk, or you can also chat. Have your questions in the chat.
This is Neva.
Hi.
Hi. I have a real problem with organized religion. And when I talked to the practitioner who gave me a life activation, I was told this doesn't have the thought of God and, you know, all the dogma and things like that attached to it. And so, but I keep hearing you say God. And so it's just a real trigger word for me. I hate to say it like that, to be honest, because I believe that we're all God. And so, and that we have created, and we continue to do so. But I just keep hearing that, and it's really bothered me. I'm sorry that I'm bringing this up if it offends anyone. But so I'm wondering how, I'm not really understanding the whole God thing, to be honest.
Awesome.
I
Okay.
know that Kabbalah is based in Jewish tradition and things of that nature. Anyhow, sorry.
Let me address that. It's funny because I just did an interview today.
Thank you.
I have a book, and I just went there with the God thing, and I know people get triggered by that. So it's totally normal for you to feel that way. Everybody feels that way at first. And I'm just jumping in because it's really hard to know who's initiated and who's not. And I really want to help you guys. Like, I think so when you take the class, it really does. I would never hide that we're God. I don't wait for people to take a class to present that information. But yeah, a lot of times you're going to think that it has to do with religion, but it's actually, you are that. And so it's not, I'm not talking about, like I said earlier, somebody in the sky or somebody that you need to talk to a priest. I'm talking about you as a creator. And so the reason why we want to own that word God is because a lot of times, like I was raised Catholic. I was triggered by that word for a while too. I didn't necessarily want to call it. I wanted to sidestep it and call it the universe or source. But if you are able to own the fact that you know thyself, like you could tell that you create your own reality, right? By like, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you have a bad day, that everything goes sideways. But when you're having a great day, everything goes well. That's because you're responsible for your own queendom as the goddess of that queendom. That doesn't mean that I'm not God too. So you just have to have it rewired. That's what we usually work on in Empower Thyself, is helping people with that, because it's totally normal. I mean, it's one of my initiates is nodding their heads too, like that I just initiated. Like at first you're going to reject it, but then what are you rejecting? You're like basically throwing the baby out with bathwater, because if you can't own that you are the creator, then you can't be the creator. So we're talking about you being God. So it's totally different than religion. There's no dogma. It's really about us giving you tools with the Empower Thyself class, which is a prerequisite for this. You're going to get tools on how to basically create a space of light with your own will, your own desire, your own, you're doing it, how to call in angels, how to create a sacred space so that you can start cleaning off your diamond. We all have the same connection. We all have the same ability to be a creator God in this world. But how much beliefs, like, kind of rejecting God because of religious programming, do you have in the way of that? And so you're going to have time with the Empower Thyself in the privacy of your own home to really start to like create a barrier of light around you, but also pulling in light, pulling in powers from the directions, protecting yourself energetically so that you can really start to get the answers from within you and know thyself, which you are an amazing divine being. And knowing that's really important, because if you don't know it, you're still God, and you're still going to be creating stuff, but without the awareness of like, I'm the one sailing the ship. So I'm really glad you brought that up, because I want you guys to feel comfortable having it's normal to resist and feel a little uncomfortable about some of this stuff. And if you don't feel like you can say it, then, you know, believe me, half the other people on this call are really relieved that you asked. So I think it's awesome. And I welcome that kind of a question. So I hope that helps.
Erin, there are 2 questions
Okay.
in the chat. I don't know if you want me to read it out, or are you able to read them yourself?
I think read it. I'm not, obviously we all know, you can tell that, yes, I've done some work on myself, but technology is not my strong suit. That's okay. I accept that. I still love myself. But yeah, I'm not able to look at the chat and
Okay.
I need help.
Okay, so Julian has 2 questions. One is curious about what the abyss is.
Okay.
And 2 is wondered if the sword you mentioned is, I'll let you answer the first question. What is the abyss?
Okay. The abyss is basically, it's kind of an interesting, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's a mystery, but usually I tell people about it in an intro talk and you forget anyway. So you'll remember again. I don't want to give too much away, but you asked, and there is power in asking questions. And that's what this is all about. So, okay, the abyss happened when, now we're using the creation story, not meaning that we're into religion, but it's just a story that a lot of people understand. The story of the fall. Okay, it's kind of a universal myth, right? Well, we were all, so Malkut down here, it's down here, it's the physical. It used to be up here. Okay, so when we were one with God, we were like talking to the angels. I'm not going to go into it because that's like half the first day of class. So like I have to really unpack it. I mean, like throwing out that you're God to people that probably have never heard that, but hey, I'm brave, you know? So that's going to fall down. That fell down when we fell, when our consciousness fell, which is a whole thing. I mean, it would take a couple hours to talk about it. Down here, and then there's a tear in the fabric. So we have to replace it because we let our energy drop by feeling separate. And so part of like us really earning this journey of godhood, really like becoming creators, has to do with that fall. And so then there's a crack in the pattern. And so when people, it's such a big deal when a group climbs and crosses the abyss, because they're repairing that part that they're responsible for of the tear. And then really knowing who they are, but knowing who they are by direct experience, because this part here, which looks like a sphere, it's called Da'at, and it represents knowledge. And you have to know who you are to be able to cross the abyss. And there's a lot of mysteries that get revealed at the final retreat about that. Okay, what was the other question?
Yeah, so there's this one and the next one. So second question by Julian is, wondered if the sword you mentioned, there's the path of the flaming sword you mentioned, is a sword of the angel guarding the Garden of Eden, or connected to some books of magic called the Sword of Moses, or is it some other sword?
I haven't read that book, but it does. There are swords of cherubim guarding the flame, guarding the way back. Yeah, but I haven't read those books, so I don't know.
Thank you. And then Rachel is asking, what healings or courses are the prerequisites?
You just need to do, if you haven't gotten a life activation yet from whoever referred you, that's a prerequisite. That is a way for your the light in your DNA to be turned on from 2 strands to 22 strands. It's an hour-and-a-half session. It stays with you for the rest of your life. I just did one earlier today. And it's a no-brainer. I mean, even if you don't do Kabbalah, get the life activation. I mean, you're going to be walking around with so much more light for the rest of your life. And it's just like a 1 hour and a half. So you do that. And then you discern, usually people, their soul just kind of pulls them to the next step. And they will most likely go, if you're ready, to a guide and take the class where you get the tools of light to put around you so that you can remember who you are. And kind of keep, be able to like go towards the light with the tools. And then, so that's called Empower Thyself. And then you can do Kabbalah. So it's just 2 things that you need to do.
All right. And also I can repost a link, but there will be a link that lists all the dates, like the, you know, the requirements for Kabbalah, the dates that you need to be present, things like that, as well as about the life information about the life activation and Empower Thyself. And then Kirsty, I hope I'm saying it right. Kirsty Blue is asking what happens to those who get stuck in the abyss.
Oh, you won't get stuck in the abyss. No. No one gets stuck in the abyss.
And is Empower Thyself in person or in Zoom?
In person, we are physical beings having a spiritual beings having a physical experience. So I really like Zoom. To me is, I'm so glad I can meet all you, but I really would rock this so much harder if we were in the space together, because I'd actually very psychic. I can feel what you're thinking and I'll just be like, boom. Oh, you have a problem with that? You know, like, so we want our auras to be overlapping, because like some people who've traversed the path, like I had to go through quite a gauntlet to become a Kabbalah teacher. So you being in the energy of all the keys that I've been given from the founder, it's good. You know, you want to do that. Also for Empower Thyself, you need to be, we create a container of light. So it's not just a class, it's actually a 2-day healing. So that you need to be able to receive up to 10 times the light by the end of the 2 days, meaning there are certain teachings that are going to expand your ability to hold light. And that needs to be done in person. Same with the life activation. We do it with a wand. We don't intend that you get it. We're putting a wand. When we do a cord cutting, we have an athami and incense. We're not imagining it. And then when we initiate you, we take a sword and knight you. So yeah. There's so many guides though. We can refer you to somebody. Just like message me and I'll find out who sent you, or you know who's closest to you.
Great. So same person has a just follow-up question. Are the study groups going to be via Zoom?
Yeah, you can do Zoom. We have all, there might be an option to come in person, which some people like. Unfortunately, though, I mean, if it's mandatory, we really do need to make it Zoom. And we do have people all over California right now. I have people in like Idaho in my Kabbalah. And so we do Zoom. So for study groups, but the ascensions absolutely have to be there in person because it's physical.
Thank you. And then, yeah, unless there's more questions.
Oh, cool. I'll definitely read these before we log out, because I'm not reading them now because I just want to focus on the energy. And I want to hear like testimonials too. I'll tell you about mine. I think is really powerful. I mean, I don't know if this group needs it or not. I can't see you as well, but what I'm going to say is a lot of us aren't aware of how much baggage we have until you go on a path that has so much light. This is like, it's very, very clean. It's hermetic, which is clean. It's pure. And when I did it in 2006. I didn't even know what it was, honestly. I mean, I was on the ritual master path, which is the warrior path. And the founder, I said, where do I go? How can I eliminate my negative ego? And he said, well, do King Solomon healing modality, which is really cool, and Kabbalah. And there was a Kabbalah, and I honestly thought it was just like Madonna, red string around your wrist. I didn't know anything about it. And I went down and I was so freaked out. Like I was so scared. I don't know, because the energy is very daunting as the unknown. I drove down to LA for Sissima Teresa's class, and everybody was like a model and beautiful. And I basically superimposed. I realized from this that I had never outgrown my 7th grade wounding, where I thought I still had braces and zits, and so I actually recreated that. Everybody had to meld into my triggered belief system around myself. So I was like kind of ditched at lunch, like people seemed mean. And then that next night, I hadn't even been ascended up the tree. I went home to my hotel, woke up the next day, all the guys wanted me to be their partner. Like I had cleared it. It's almost like, somebody who's really thin but thinks they're fat or something like that, dysmorphia. It just in one day I cleared it, and all the people, Teresa wanted me to teach the class, like teach the magic circle. I mean, it was a complete change, but that's what I'm telling you what can happen. You might not know that you're like having some sort of superimposed belief system about the world. That's how we are creators, right? We're also creating our fears. And so you have to own that. And I really want you to be motivated to look at this as like an adventure of, wow, if I can let go of that, look, I let go of that in one day, not even doing the process. What else is holding us back that we can't see? Don't you want to see? Like, you might not know of some of these things. I didn't know that I had that belief. So I just want to like inspire you. I mean, yes, is it pleasant at first? No. Is it pleasant to get the result? Yeah. It was nice having everybody like, I want to be your partner. Oh no, I've already got a partner. This guy wanted me my partner all of a sudden. So there's a bunch of people on this call that have done Kabbalah who, I think a few people at least. Anybody want to share what you feel comes through for you because you've got that connection, about something that you feel that this group could benefit from hearing? Romy.
Hi, everyone. I'm gonna go based as well on some of the questions that the people asked. For example, I think it was Shana, asking for the 10-month commitment. When I signed up, I started this journey because I wanted to do Kabbalah. And when I saw it was 10 months, I was like, I cannot commit to 10 months. Like, I'm traveling a lot. I'm not gonna be able to make the time. And it was like a big fear barrier that I had. And I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna sign up. If I cannot finish it, then I'll figure it out like at the present time, but I'm just gonna do it. And I jumped the cliff. I did it. And all of a sudden, everything lined up in my life for me able to be at the study groups, which at that time they were not mandatory, but I highly, highly, highly recommended. I remember Tipereth was like the most strongest in my experience of what I was going through. And I always had the feeling, oh, I'm already healed. I'm already healed. I'm already healed. On the Tipereth Kabbalah group, I cried so much, and I was like, oh no, bro, like you really have to humble yourself. Like, this is no joke. And I seriously underestimated the tree big time, to the point that I was waiting for the second tree, and when it came through, I went right into it and I was like, I'm gonna like make this like really my opportunity to manifest all these things that I want to manifest that can take me 10 years in only 10 months. And at that point, I was really serious about it. The first one, I was totally testing the tree. It still worked. It worked in every single way. And then at that time as well, going to what Teddy asked, I know she's not here anymore. I was doing a lot of tarot readings. I was like providing that service. And here I go to the first class and they tell me, you cannot do any tarot, nothing that interferes with the journey. And I was like, and there was another person actually that was the tarot reader as well. I was like, okay, well, I'm here. I can sacrifice 10 months of doing tarot and focus on the other aspects of my life that I want to focus and make that happen. And I remember the other person never showed up for the second class, but I did. And I finished the 10 months. I'm like, I'm so grateful. And 10 months went just like that. And I after that, I continued like working with my cards and doing the things that I wanted to do. And as well, Neva is here. You know, when I first went to Empower Thyself and I was brought by Dr. Teresa Buller, and she handed out the teaching, "You are God." I totally rejected it because I had the same feeling as Eva. The same feeling as Eva. I was like, no, I'm not here for someone to tell me that. And Dr. Teresa Buller, she was like, that's okay. I just invite you to open your mind and sit with it. And after I was initiated and I was going towards Kabbalah, I was like, okay, what if this would be true? What if I would be God and I actually have these powers to shift my life and create my kingdom, and create my life of dreams and make it happen? And I started shifting and I started saying, I am God, and I started doing the rituals. And that's when the big shift happened. And after that, I never stopped doing them. It changed so much my life that I actually went to learn how to activate people and how to initiate people. And I'm moving forward into learning, into getting to hopefully the apprenticeship of Kabbalah, because how it changed your life, how it connects your infinite spirit and anchors it in this physical, it just makes sense. And then all that infinite divine power that sometimes we de-associate from the above and below, when we feel ungrounded, with these teachings and the structure that they bring, you bring the divine into that structure, and then you feel grounded. And there's no need, you don't feel ungrounded anymore, and you don't feel lost, and you feel at home here in your body. I think I'm just gonna leave it there right now. Like, your questions inspire me to share my story. There's way more, but there's more people that need to talk. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Beautiful. That was perfect.
I can share a little bit, Erin. Excuse me. So hi, I'm Ling. I was working I was working as a software developer for almost 10 years. So I have like a very left-brained, like being Asian, like just very logical, analytical kind of mind upbringing. And so I like things that are efficient and effective. I don't like to waste my money, and I like to just be able to get as much and grow as much as I can in the shortest possible time, so maximize the benefits. And I gotta say, anything and everything I've done with the mystery school, especially Kabbalah, has just been like time and time again, it's proven to me that, oh my gosh, like I thought that I could reach here, and then it just pushed me to like even further. Obviously that's why I'm here, I'm doing all this thing, because it's I've just seen so much benefit. And I kind of sometimes I think about, like, was it 2 years ago? I was already initiated, like high initiated, I was already doing a lot of things. And then sometimes I like to dabble, right? Because why not? And then I spent like $6,500 on this coaching program outside the school. And I remember that I immediately forgot about it the moment it was completed. And sometimes I'm like, oh, dang, that program changed nothing in my life. So sometimes I got a little bitter, but then I'm like, thank you, God, for the $6,500 lesson to remind me to like be able to stay focused on my goals and learn to be effective and, choose to do the things that are good. So for me, like Kabbalah has really helped me become more grounded, become more my body. I would not have been able to speak like this on the spot, like this, not prepared, with even just like with one person, let alone, I don't know, 50 people like this, had it not been, obviously for the path, but also for Kabbalah, to clean up a lot of my negative thoughts, negative mind, negative mindset. And most importantly, it's really helped me heal my relationship with God. So with the God within and the God, like the bigger God as well, because I've always been very intuitive, but things happen that I just kind of turn away from God. And it was after my first Kabbalah tree where, I kind of stood in front of people and say, hey, I had anger, or whatever it is that I had, and was able to move through that. So, that's why I love Kabbalah. I kind of wish I could do it again. I've done it a few times. So I want to make space for new people to come in. And as well, Erin, I've worked with Erin for years, and, like And she has such a pure heart, and she's just so loving and caring. And she's going to do whatever that will help you most. And I can say that, because I've worked with her, and I've kind of tested her as well, because you need to know for yourself, right? You're going to be the evidence that the thing works and not somebody else telling you. So she's going to be a great teacher for you, I'm sure. And it's very, very grateful, especially for those who live in California, that we actually even have this. There's like maybe 10 people that can do this over the world, and to have this here in your backyard is an extreme privilege. So thank you, Erin, for posting and for doing this, because I can't imagine how hard it is.
Thank you. That was awesome. It's good to hear different perspectives. I mean, I really think that we all need to hear different voices to really get the angle. If I know there's a couple questions that are pending, but if anybody else feels called, no pressure. I mean, only if you feel the spirit move through you to like say something to this group, there's an opportunity for maybe 1 or 2 more people, and then I'm going to answer some of the questions.
Erin, I can share.
Great. Beautiful. Another beautiful voice.
Hi, everyone. This is Dawn. I agree with everything that Romy and Link said. One thing I'll add is that I received so much inner child healing through Kabbalah. I had a traumatic childhood, like many of us have had, and I didn't realize how much that was affecting me, in my adult life, how it was running my thoughts, my behaviors, my decisions, until I got into Kabbalah. And like Erin talked about, all this light comes in, right? And all this awareness of what's happening in your subconscious comes through. And you have the opportunity, particularly in Tiferet, to really work with your inner child and do a lot of healing. And so I was able to forgive so much of things that happened in my past, with my family. My relationship with my family completely shifted, after Kabbalah. I was able to forgive so much that I was still holding on to, that I didn't realize I was holding on to. And it's so freeing. A lot of Kabbalah is about freedom and independence. And when you're holding on to things that you don't forgive other people, you're not free, right? And so, and then I also got a lot of financial freedom through Kabbalah. It is an investment, but I can tell you that I probably, got my investment back from Kabbalah at least 20 times, because I paid off so much debt. It was one of my biggest goals in Kabbalah, was to pay off all my credit card debt. And through Kabbalah, I was able to find a financial planner. I was able to find work that was paying me a lot more than I was making, at the time. And so I paid off tens of thousands of dollars of debt through Kabbalah. And I was really testing the tree. I think Lane talked about that too, and Romy both. We go in and we test the tree. We're like, okay, does this really work? And I actually challenge everyone, or encourage everyone, test the tree. It totally works. So go in with your big goals and you can accomplish them. So manifestation through Kabbalah is incredibly efficient and effective.
That's such a good point. Thank you for bringing that up, because there's so much to cover. And one of the things that you get is you kind of do a petition to this tree, this process, and you write things that you want to manifest. And then we encourage you to go big, because then the whole entire process, I always say it's like an artery that's clogged. So let's say you want something that you never got. It's way over here. That's great. That's smart to do that, because why not? Why not use the process to really go big? And so your life is going to show you that clog that you've never been able to fix, and you're going to be able to fix it through the interface of your life. And then at the end, everybody does a presentation about their tangible, measurable results, something they've pulled. We call it the 4 worlds. You're going to get a meditation called or a process. There's a meditation. I love all the cats. I see a couple cats. That's Yesod, by the way, on the tree. The cat is in the Yesod. You're going to learn there's animals and everything. It's got everything. Another cat. I lost my cats anyway, I don't want to, that might not be inspiring. But so the energy comes through and you learn a process how to create like God creates. And that's why Dawn's like, well, through the tree, I was able to find a financial planner. Like you'll do this process, and then all of a sudden you're going to be able to find the people in the physical that match the goals that you want to create. So it's really about manifestation too, because you're learning how to free yourself up so that you can really create like God creates. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna look at some questions and then open up the floor again. I really like hearing the different people. I see that the first session is $415. Is the next 3 very similar price? Okay, well, that's not correct.
415 is the deposit amount.
Oh, deposit. Yeah, that's the deposit. So that's just, you just have to you want to put skin in the game, because I need to do Kabbalah. There is a minimum number of people that need to sign up, which is, everybody wants to do it. So it's not hard, but we want to have you commit, because we want to have a nice, robust group, because the group dynamic is really important. And so that's why the deposit's a little bit more. It's $415. And Ling, do you mind reading some of the questions?
Yes, so Rachel also has a question. You said it would be a retreat space. Is it still in the Great San Francisco area, so that she knows?
Yeah, I committed to this tree already, the next tree that you guys potentially are going to be on. And so I've already got the deposit. I kind of keep it secret where it is, just energetically. But it's about 2 hours north of San Francisco, just for the final retreat. The final retreat is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then at this retreat center, we have a really cool deal where we can stay Sunday night and, stay over and then leave on Monday. But the rest of them are going to be just like at the Concord Hilton in the Bay Area, or a Walnut Creek Hotel. I'm going to go on Friday and check them both out. I mean, I've done work at both of them. It's just like we make a temple space in a conference room. But the final retreat is definitely like cool retreat center where you have nature and all that.
There's one question about Chris. From Chris a while back. Question about the 22 pathways of Kabbalah and the corresponding tarot cards that also represent them. Do the teachings cover the tarot symbolism aspect as well?
No, we don't, because we are just really focused on the Sphirot so that you understand those. And then the 22 pathway, the arcana are placed on this map, which is the official map, but really we're actually moving away from those associations. Founder Goodney, for anybody who's done Kabbalah, and then you can do advanced Kabbalah called Kabbalah for Kabbalists, he's offering path working, where we're going to work with these different interfaces between the Sphirot, but using toning, and it's totally esoteric. And so, yes, they conveniently do fit and it does correspond, but we don't study that. Okay. All questions answered. Okay, so anybody else want to share anything? And then I can be, oh, you're welcome. So the first class does not start until what? This is a question, right?
Yes, so the first class does not start until January. Is there anything we should do in between?
If you're not initiated yet, get initiated. Ooh, good question. I love questions. You can just do questions the rest of the time. I recommend, if you feel guided, now I'm not pushing, I'm not your guide, but obviously you have to get activated and initiated if you haven't done that already. But we really encourage, actually, and financially there is an incentive to go to Healers Academy, which is in October in London and in November in Toronto, because a lot of your healing is going to come from service. This is a personal path, so I'm not gonna, it's a big thing to do, but it is recommended, because when you go to Healers Academy in that 5 days, you're healing your heart. It's all about getting in your heart. and you get the next initiation, which is 10 times the power of what you have as an adept, and you have the holy honor of activating people around you. So a lot of times you'll be able to get to your friends and family more than like maybe your guide. Like you could refer them to your guide or your life activation practitioner, but some people, you know, they might not go to anybody but you. Like the first person I activated was my grandma. Like I drove straight to her house and got the light into the matriarch, which helped my whole entire lineage. So that's pretty cool. And you actually save $800 on the entire Kabbalah when you do that. So we give you a discount because then you can really go deeper, because yes, you can get healings from your guide or your life activation practitioner. And that's good. I get healings too. I mean, I just went to the Toronto programs. I got 2 healings within 2 weeks. But you really don't heal the nitty gritty, like that stuff that you can't see until you actually serve another person. And so when you're activating, it's going to help. That might be too deep or too much for you to hear right now, but I'm just giving you options. Like you don't have to do it, but hey, don't like limit yourself. When I started on the path, I've been on this path since 2005. I got activated at the end of 2004. And I was just ready. I mean, I actually had signed up just so I could do the life activation. So I didn't even know there was a adept program. I was doing that just to get to the life activation. And at some point, and then I went to the Ritual Master program right away. And I'm like, God, am I like going too fast? And then it was almost like my mind was trying to stop me, but my soul was really glad that I was doing it. And now I've got a huge community in California, and I oversee leadership for California. So don't limit yourself, but also it's your path, and take it at the right speed that's right for you. There's no pressure at all. I mean, you're the one who's going to sign up or not. No one's going to stand behind you, buy your ticket for you, right? Like it's completely self-driven.
Thank you. Okay, so there's maybe 2 or 3 people with the same question. Romy mentioned that she stopped doing tarot readings for people during her Kabbalah study. I do cosmic journeys for people. If I enroll in this class, would I be able to continue my work?
I don't think well, cosmic journeys, I don't know what that is, but I think what we really suggest is not getting tarot readings. So you don't want to, whatever you're doing for work is whatever you do for work, but you don't want to start looking outside yourself just during the Kabbalah, the first time, because you're getting a rewiring with your own internal compass. And it's such a gift to have that. And so you don't want to use any tools just during that 10 months. But as far as what you're doing for a living, I think that's different because that's for somebody else, right?
All right. And then, yeah, there's some comments. There's some comments, but
Okay, I'll read that. I want to honor everybody and read your comments.
so interesting. So Julian, continuing with something you mentioned earlier, it's so interesting that what you said about a fold in creation below the first 3 or 4 Sephiroth, as it means 3, there weren't originally 10 of them, and just a triangle or square. So like, I was talking about the fall.
Okay, that's not, well, there was, all of them were there. It's just that Malkut was up higher. There's always 10 in the Sefer Yetzirah. I said that earlier, like with a lot of drama, but the good kind of drama. The Sefer Yetzirah, Book of Creation. The ineffable Sephirah are 10. So are the numbers. And as there are in, 10 is the number of the ineffable Sephirah, Sphirot, 10, not 9, 10, not 11. Understand this wisdom and be wise in the perception. So it's in there. It's like they're really specific. It represents the 10 fingers of man and the rays of Ensof. So there's always 10. Yeah. Well, I think, we can wrap up unless there's some questions. I mean, I feel complete with what I wanted to share with you. I recommend signing up. As soon as you sign up, the magic starts happening. Just if you, with anything, like when you sign up for the life activation, your life basically starts shifting holographically. When you sign up for Empower Thyself, it starts shifting. And so same with Kabbalah. So you actually get more bang for your buck if you put the energy in, because then the energy knows you're serious, and then you actually start getting prepared for it earlier. So I recommend doing it whenever you feel that you've made the decision to do it. Okay. And then you can contact me if you have questions. I have a, I'm sure my website is on the Acuity. You can contact me. I'm pretty responsive. Yeah. So if you have any personal questions that you didn't want to ask, or anything that you kind of sleep on it and you didn't think of it until tomorrow, or something that bothers you, absolutely reach out to me. And then whoever referred you, thank you for everybody who referred people to this. And that would be the person that you would most likely, work with to get those steps to get to Kabbalah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for taking the time. I'm trying to read all your comments. Aw, thank you. Oh, you're excited to sign up. Good. Okay. Yeah. I'll stay on if you have questions. But you're free to leave.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Romy.
Later.
Thanks for your testimonial.
I have a
course.
question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me,
Yeah.
Erin?
Hi, Darcel.
Hi, Erin. I couldn't figure out how to type in my question, but I do have the question. What was the name of that book that you were holding up?
It's called the Sefer Yetzirah. So it's spelled like that. And we recommend the W. Wynne Westcott version.
Oh, can you
see it, or is it like a mirror?
oh, can you hold it up again, please?
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay. Yeah.
This is pretty advanced stuff. It's just like code. It's basically like code, but it's not going to hurt you to read it. It'll rewire your brain. I'm using it just for that holiness factor, because it's so holy, and I want to bring that in, because Kabbalah is very holy too. And if you were in my energy field, I would have done a middle pillar exercise with you, but I didn't want to do it with you not in the energy field. So maybe there's way more, everybody. If you do Kabbalah, there's just experiential things where you will actually feel totally at peace from some of the exercises, and you're going to feel high, but high on the light. Absolutely high and holy. You're going to want to cry just from the holiness of it. It's a whole different dimension to be together in a group that's been set up, where the space has been set up in a temple space. It's just so much can shift in such a short amount of time. Sorry, Darcel, did you want to say more?
Yes.
Okay.
The other question I had is, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Now I can't.
Darcel, you muted yourself.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Okay. You were saying that we shouldn't do anything else when we're taking the Kabbalah course. How many hours, or how many, I know you said it was 10 months, but is it like full time? Because I'm thinking about going back to school. I'm taking some courses. So I was wondering, how would that affect the schedule?
Yeah, I definitely don't want you guys to feel that that's like a dogmatic full stop. People can really hear the wrong thing. And I think a lot of people have. And that happened with my group too, because I was just like, oh, don't do a healing series. They're like, we're not doing healings. I'm like, no, I just said series, like it was in print. So you can it's just recommended to not, like, let's say you're going to do Kabbalah, and then you're also signing up for a Kundalini yoga 10-month retreat at the same time. Like we wouldn't, that would be like confusing. Like it would be planting seeds of something totally different into another thing. But like, Do you see what I mean? So don't take it too extreme,
Literal.
anybody, right? I mean, you're representing the group. It's more like, just for this part, focus on Kabbalah. It's a lot, as far as the timing goes, you're just energetically in it all the time. So you're gonna meet 4 times with me, 4 times with your Kabbalah teacher, and then whoever ends up being the study group leader, you're gonna meet 11 times just from 7 to 10 on a Wednesday night. All the dates are on there. And then you're going to be doing some reading, and a little bit of reading and some ritual. But the rest of the day is yours. You're not going to be just having your head in a book the whole time. So you'll have time to do other things, like, if you need like a vocational studying, like insurance or lawyer, I don't, whatever people do, but we just don't want you to do like some major like overhaul spiritual other thing while you're doing this, because it's plenty, believe me, it's plenty.
Okay.
You'll be busy. I mean, yeah, but like Healers Academy goes hand in hand with it. Things like that are actually, so there's some things that are complementary.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good. We needed that question.
Chris has a question. Is the Healers Academy separate from the Healer prerequisite package or Sacred Geometry Healer package?
Okay, that's maybe from my website. Sometimes I don't even know what I put on there, but so Sacred Geometry, like to get to Healers Academy, there's just very few classes you need to take to get there. And that is Sacred Geometry 1, which is a 4-hour class. Astral Travel, 4-hour class, usually 150 each. You can do it all in one day. And then Journeys of Spirit, which is a full day class of meditations. For people in my area, that I'm teaching that on September 23rd, I believe. And then if you're in Southern California, whoever your prospective guide is. And then there's, and that helps you really get a relationship with your higher self, and how to work with your higher self as a guide within you, and work with the other beings. And then there's 12 Races of Earth, which is about the magical beings that we share the planet with and honoring them. And then once you do that, wherever you are, then you're ready to go to Healers Academy.
And then Sacred Geometry, that's different.
You mean?
I think it may, okay. So Chris, if your question's answered, good. Okay.
Thanks, Ling. Thank you for helping me.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't see any question. I don't see any more question.
Well, good. You have to, okay, thanks. Yeah. Thank you, Romy. I saw that. Okay, well, I'm ready to go. I'm totally happy to stay and answer questions, but if you have anything else, I really don't feel shy about contacting me. I'm totally fine with that. I'm teaching Empower this weekend, so I'll be busy, but Friday I'm kind of off.
Yeah, please, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. One quick question, similar to what other asked, but in terms of like giving a practice to others is okay. Don't do an overhaul, like esoteric study. Okay, but what if you have your own esoteric practice already? Let's say I read Akashic record. Can I open my own Akashic record during this experience as a form of meditation or connection?
I would recommend to do just the stuff that you're being handed down with this system. I would just for 10 months. But you have to discern if that's something that you're willing to do. Of course, I can't police that. None of us could, right?
Right.
You could do whatever you want. Luckily, is the free. That'd be creepy, right? If I was like, but I think it's best to just try this one system out and give it a go. There's plenty of ways to meditate and chant and get those answers a different way. So I would open up a different area within yourself with this. Have you done Empower Thyself yet?
Yes, I had.
Okay, cool. And so I would just commit to this if you can.
Okay. And be curious.
Yeah, be curious. Just empty your cup. Whatever finds you is there for a reason, right? I mean, the fact that you're taking an hour and a half of your precious time, really, to learn about something else shows that something's met you. Like you've come across something new
Right.
because you're a different person.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you've done before has gotten you to a level where you're now, the Holy Kabbalah has opened up. It's only been opened up during like Renaissance times. I mean, it's like full on rebirth, like art, abundance, keys to everything. It's out in the open right now, and you found it. You have the luck of finding it. It's so holy. It's such a privilege to be able to do it, to even have the energy to find it. You're different. This might help you get to a different level that you've never got before. And so that's what I listen to. Of course, following your feelings in your body, and, you know, knowing yourself enough to know, am I just I'm not talking about you, but like, am I just kind of afraid of the unknown? Or is this a full stop? Like, I feel like weird about this. You have to know yourself enough to know, when do I shy away from something? Is it because I'm afraid?
Yeah.
Or is it because I really don't feel good about it? So all of you should ask yourself that kind of stuff too, you know, but for the most part, I've only seen people get huge benefits and want to do it again. I mean, there's now a limit to how many times you can do it. People were like doing it 9 times in a row. I love it. We like the structure. I forgot to tell you guys, people like structure, and the tree is structure. We think we don't like it, but structure creates freedom. It's a lattice you can climb on. A ladder helps you go up. But if there's no rungs on the side, what are you going to do?
Bring the type of the ether to the physical, you know, have structure.
Yeah, you need a bank for the river to flow.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm a river god, so I'm all about freedom. But if I didn't have a bank, I would just be a flood.
Exactly. Freedom without structure is chaos.
So this is what it does. I mean, people are jumping on this thing. Like, once you do it once, you cannot wait to get back on it, because you're like, I manifest so much. But the thing is, you have it within you too. So you get the structure from the outside, then you can realize, oh, I actually have this in me anyway. So I don't really even need to take it again. If you really, so yeah, I hope you do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Deborah's asking, are the ascension a 1-day thing for 4 weekends?
Well, the first one is 2 days. So, because you really want to get the lay of the land, like the map. It's cool. Second time, 1 day. We only need to just go over some stuff, get you up to Tiferet. Third day, Geber and Hesed. We only have 2 to go over. I'll send you up there. And then the heavy work, heavy lifting is at the end, where we do 3 days, Friday at noon until Sunday at evening. So it's really 7 days with me that you're going to be spending with me in the group. And then everything else, I'm still trying to find out like what the recommendation is, if I'm going to be the study group leader, if I'm going to have an apprentice.
All right, no more questions so far.
I love the questions.
You can hear my cat.
Aw.
She wants to go in.
Yesod, I think this will be a big Yesod group, all the cats. Get that foundation going, you know? I love cats too. Okay, well.
Okay.
Let's do it. I hope you guys sign up. Just, follow, jump in. It's brave, but do it. It's, I mean, if I hadn't done it, I don't know where I would be. I'd probably be in thinking I'm 7th grade. Like, you want to do it. Believe me, there's stuff that you can't see that's blocking you. Be brave. We're living here. We have live life alive. Like, go for it.
Aaron, there was a question about why is Yesod cats?
Well, the animal happens to be there, but you can also look at Yesod is about psychic abilities, and cats are in 2 dimensions. They're in 2 worlds. So psychic gifts, they're independent, and Yesod is independent. Yeah. It's kind of cool, huh? There's a lot of symbolism. You're going to learn a whole new language too. I mean, everywhere I go, I'm like 3, 3, 3. Okay, that's Bina, 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 plus add them together. That's Yesod. Okay, Bina and Yesod. Oh, there's an owl. I was just at Boy George concert just because we were trying to find something to do, my friends. But there's an owl during the day. I was like, Hokmah, an owl, barn owl, just like before it got dark. That was so cool. So like everything becomes symbolism, everything. There's sense with each one. So you can like really go deep and become kind of geeky about it if you want. Like you can make an altar for each sphere and like get symbolism for each one. I mean, we totally geek out during the class. Like I have a whole team make a beautiful altar with different symbolism on it. But you could do that for yourself, or you could put the oil, on the place of your body. You'll also be able to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm having this issue. Oh, my left hip's hurting. Oh, it must be a Netzakian thing, or, you can start to, it's a new language you're learning that at first I didn't understand it because I was really into astrology and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I really didn't get it. And now I do. I mean, it does actually correlate. You have to sit with it. There's a lot of like reflection. If you're more intellectual type, you have that part can be nurtured with the books and study. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna look at this chat box. Am I missing anything?
No, you're good.
Okay, well, I love that you're like totally into the energy and hanging around here. But questions fuel this. So if there's no questions, we gotta go. All right. All right. I hope to see you. I hope you do it. It's gonna be fun. I love it. I'm gonna have fun.
All right. Thank you so much, Erin.
Thanks everybody.
Fun.
Thanks, Lily.
Bye.
Thanks
Good
for
tips from
helping
many people.
me.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
For coming in. If people have done this before, and thanks for sending people.